Hello, welcome to Firstlady Fashion and Style. Thank you for tuning to this channel. Today we'll be making the shawl collar jacket. If this is your first time on this channel, thank you for clicking on the channel. We have other beautiful pattern draft and sewing tutorial on this channel. So after this video, please you can check on the other videos. And then for those that are not subscribed, this is the time for you to click the subscribe button, because I won't want you to miss out on any of our interesting tutorials. Our tutorials are beginners friendly and we try as much as possible to give you the simplest method and to explain in the best method possible. So today we'll be drafting the shawl collar jacket, and on this table here I have a box here. So to get this box here, you will check the largest circumference of your measurement. So the length of this box from the top to the bottom here is the length of the blouse, the jacket, and the length here we are using 24. So to get the width of this box here, the width is going to be the largest circumference, either your bust, your waist, or your hip. So for this draft here, the largest number we have is the hip measurement. The hip measurement is 36. The bust is 33 and the waist is 27. So the hip is the largest. The largest is 36. So what I did is 36 divided by 2, which is 18. And then I added 2 inches to make 20. So from this part here, from here to this place, I have 20. And what I just did was to divide it into 2. 10 on this side and 10 on this side. So the next thing that we are going to do now, we have the length and we have the front and the back. We normally draft our front and back measurement pattern together so that it will give us a clearer view of what we are doing. So this part here is going to be the back of our jacket, and this place here is going to be the front of our jacket. This is the back and this is the front. So we start with our measurement. So for our measurement, we start with from the neck line here. So to get your neck measurement, it is 3 by 3. If you want to get it standard and it works perfectly for most people, 3 by 3 for the neck. So I'm going to use my curve ruler to curve the 3 by 3 this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the back measurement. So the back measurement we are using is 7.5 this way. So I'll come to the back here, and then from the center back here, I'm going to measure the same 3 here for the width, and then for the depth is going to be 1. So I'm going to use my ruler to curve the back neck this way. And then the next thing will be to take the back measurement. It's going to be the same thing for the front, and this is 7.5. I hope you can see that. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I want us to form the armhole measurement. But before we can form the armhole measurement, then we have to take our horizontal measurement to find out where the chest line will be. So for this front line here, I'm going to come down by 1.5 for the shoulder slope here and connect the 1.5 to the neck line here. It's very easy, just watch what I'm doing step by step and follow through. For the back, I'm going to come down by 1 inch here. So somebody asked the question that why do I normally come down by 1.5 for the neck slope here? It gives your dress a better balance, but if you use 1 here, it's also fine, it will work. But I noticed that by using 1.5, it gives my top a better balance. So here I'm going to connect this 1 inch for the back slope to the neck. So you can try it, use 1 inch and use 1.5, anyone you prefer, you work with it. So now this is a jacket we are making, and then for this jacket we want the hand to really be free for us to lift. So what I'm going to do now is, for me to get my chest line, there is a formula for that, and the formula is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. Whatever value you get, you'll bring it to the front here to measure your chest line. So since we are using bust 33 divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give me 7. So from the front chest line here, I'm going to measure 7 this way. So that is where my chest line is going to be. This is a jacket. The body measurement, the basic measurement can be slightly different from our normal top. So please, I just want you to follow it the way it is. So now, because I want to get a straight line here, I'm going to measure from the very top where I have a straight line here to where I have this point here, and that will give me 8.5. 8.5. So for me to get a straight line, I will come here and measure my 8.5 this way, and then it applies to the back too. That is why I like drafting my front and back pattern together. So anyone that applies to both back and front, I can rule it and then I will see my measurement. So I'm going to draw the line this way to form my chest line. Okay, so now that I have my chest line drawn out, then we can construct the armhole. So on this chest line here, I will just bring the same measurement for the back. The same measurement I have for the back, I'll bring it here and measure 7.5. Remember, that's the same measurement for the back here, and then I'll connect the 7.5 to the slope this way. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back. On the chest line, I'm going to measure 7.5 this way and connect it to the slope this way. So the next thing we want to do is to form the armhole. So I will come to the back now. I want to get my across chest measurement. I'll come to the back, divide the back from the slope here to the chest line. I'm going to divide it by 2. And this is what I have here. I'm going to take the same measurement here because I want to have a straight line here for the across chest measurement. This way, it has to be the same thing. So on the back side here, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch this way and then connect this 1/2 inch to the shoulder slope like that. For the front side, I'm going to come in by 0.75, 3/4, and then I'm going to connect it this way to the slope. Now, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to leave this part this way, and then let's move on to the lower part. So I'm still going to construct the armhole, but let's just hold on a bit with the armhole there. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the other horizontal measurement. So for the back here, the waist line we're using is 16. So I'm going to roll the 16. It's going to be the same thing for the front and the back. It's going to be 16 all the way for the front and the back. I hope you can see it. And then the length is 25. As you can see, the length is 25. Sorry, 25, not 24. 25. So I'm going to use my ruler now to connect the waist measurement this way. That is the waist measurement. But for the front, we need an additional measurement for the front, and that is the bust point. So the bust point we are using for this draft here is 10.5. So the bust point is just going to be in front. It's not going to be a front and back thing. It's just going to be the front alone. So that is 10.5, and this here is the bust point line. Okay, so now that will be all for the horizontal measurement. So the next thing I want us to do now is I want us to work on the back of the jacket first. So on the waistline here, this is a jacket and we are not using the bust that technique where the front will be longer than the back. So we need to do a lot of tightening. So here I'm going to come in by 1 inch because I want to really tighten the back. So I'm going to take my ruler and then connect from that 1 inch to the neck line this way, and then from that 1 inch to the hemline this way. So this is going to help us to eliminate back puff. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my bust span measurement. So to take my bust span measurement, I'm going to start from the chest line, and the bust span measurement is 8. But you know we are drafting half of the back, half of the front. So I'm going to divide the 8 into 2. That will be 4. So this will be 4 here. And then from here, I'm still going to start from the center back here, 4. And then from the hem here, it's going to be 4. This way. So to take in, now I want to take in my back dart here. So I'm going to open it up by ½ inch on both sides. From the hem here, I'll go up by 2 inches. So I'm going to roll it all the way. But when I'm taking my dart, I'm going to stop at this 2 inches here. I'm not going to roll it all the way down. I'm going to stop at 2 inches. Your dart is not supposed to get to the waist. So I'm going to join this here. I'm going to join it to the top this way. And then on the other side too, I'm going to join it to the top this way. So now this jacket here is going to have a back vent. We're going to open it up at the back. It's going to have a back vent. So for us to construct our back vent, I want to leave, this is my waistline here. This is my waistline. So I don't want it to, I'm going to measure from my waistline. I'm going to come down by 3 inches from my waistline. I'm going to come down by 3 inches, and then I'm going to mark out 1.5 from that side, and then on the bottom side 1.5. So that is how wide I want my back vent to be. 1.5 this way and then 1.5 this way. So here is going to be my back vent. So now back to the armhole. Now you will see the reason why I left the armhole. Here I'm supposed to place the bust measurement. Now I have taken out some part here because when we are doing our cutting, when we are cutting this draft, we are going to cut out this part. We are going to cut it out. So we are going to cut out this part here. We're going to cut it out. So when I'm taking my measurement from here, the bust measurement I'm using for this draft is bust 33. 33 divided by 4, that is 8.25. So I'm going to start my 8.25 from here because I'm going to cut out this part. So I'm going to take my 8.25 from here this way. So you can see why I left it. I wanted to construct this back dart before I left it. So now I can construct my armhole this way. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my waist measurement and my hip, the hip measurement. So the waist measurement we're using for this draft is waist 27. Waist 27 divided by 4 will give me 6.75. So I'm going to start from this intake here. Remember I told you I'm going to cut off this side. So I'm going to start my measurement from here. So that will be 6.75 here. So this is where my 6.75 is. 6.75. But we should not forget that we have taken off 1 inch here. So I have to replace my 1 inch for the waist. and then the bottom side here, the hip side here, the hip is 9. So I'm going to measure my 9 from the center, this center back, not from the vent. So I'm going to measure out 9 inches. But I like to give the hip of my jacket a little ease. So I'm going to add ½ inch here. So that will make it 9.5. So I'm going to connect this way to the waist and then this way to the bust. So that will be the draft for the back. So the next thing we'll do is we'll move to the front side now. Let's move to the front side for intake. So I want to input the bust measurement here. So the bust measurement we are using, I said, is 8.25. So this is 8.25 here. And then I'm going to connect the armhole with this curve nicely here. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bust band measurement here. The bust band measurement is 4. So 4 here, and on the bottom part, the hip line 4. I'm going to connect the 4 together this way. I hope you're getting what I'm doing. I'm taking it step by step so that you can understand. So here I'm going to take ½ inch on both sides. Remember, we went up by 2 inches from the back, so I'm going to go up by 2 inches from the back. And then from the bust point, I'm not going to take it exactly from the bust point. I'm going to come down by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect this to this point here and this to this point here. If you have not subscribed, this is the time for you to subscribe. You can see that I'm taking it really slow because I want you to understand it. And this is how all our classes are going to be. Please make sure to subscribe to encourage me to do more. So now on the waist side, remember the waist is 27. 27 is 6.75. This 6.75 plus 1 inch here for the dart intake, and on the hip side it is 9, and then I added ½ inch for ease, so that's why I have 9.5. So we are going to connect the waist to the hip and then the waist to the bust this way. So we are getting on, we are almost done. So the next thing we are going to do now is it is time for us to form. This is just the body. It is time for us now to form the collar, the shawl collar. So the first thing you're going to do is that you make sure that in front of your front pattern here, you have allowance in front. So I'm going to mark out 1.5 here. From here, I'm going to mark out 1.5. The 1.5 is going to serve as like the button stand, and at the same time, is going to, that is where I'm going to measure my collar. So I went out by 1.5 from the center front. So you will do the same thing to go out by 1.5 from the center point this way. So the next thing is you are going to determine, there's something they call the breaking point. The breaking point is where you want your collar to stop. Is it on your waist? Is it under your bust? You have to determine. So for this draft here, I'm going to go up from my waist. This is the waistline here. I'm going to go up by 2 inches here. So this 2 inches here means this is where I want my collar to end. It's called the breaking point. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the neckline. Please, I want you to pay attention. It's very easy, but just pay attention to this part because this jacket is all about the fitness and the collar. So from the neck side here, we are going to expand it by ½ inch, just ½ inch. We are going to come out by ½ inch. So the ½ inch is going to be here. From where you have the 3, just come out by ½ inch here. And then what we are going to do is we are going to use a very long ruler to connect from where I have my extension here to this 1/2 inch. I'm going to connect it this way, and then I'm going to go up a little bit, and I'm going to measure 3.5. Now the 3.5 is going to be from the neckline. So now this is where I have my 3.5 here. So from this 3.5 line here, I'm just going to come out by 1/2 inch this way. 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch. I'm going to come out by 1/2 inch. This is 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to curve this 1/2 inch because I want this collar to lay flat on the back side. So I'm going to connect this 1/2 inch with my curve back to this neck side. It's just for it to lay flat on the back side here. So from the 1/2 inch, I'm just going to connect it this way. So it's just for it to be able to lay flat. And then on this same line here, I'm going to measure out. Just put your ruler at an angle like that, let it flow. I'm going to measure 5 from the 1/2 inch. I'm going to measure out 5 inches this way. So this is where my 5 inches will stop, and then I'm going to connect this one to the hem line here, to where I have the shawl, the break point here. So this is it. So on this side here, it depends on the kind of curve you want to have. But collar jacket usually have this kind of curve here. It's not usually straight. It usually have this kind of curve here. So I'm just going to curve it. The wideness depends on what you want, and then I'm going to roll it all the way like that. So after cutting it out, if you still want it to be smaller, you can do whatever you want to it. By the time you turn it, that's why the pattern is good. By the time you cut it out and you turn it, because this shawl collar, we are going to cut it together with the collar. The top is going to be together with the collar. So by the time we fold it in, you will see where the collar is going to get to. If you want it shorter, then you can remove out of it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is we are going to slash this line open, because we want to add facing to the collar and the body. So on this shoulder line here, I'm going to divide this shoulder line into 2 this way, get the midpoint, and then I'm going to connect the midpoint to the bust point this way, because I'm going to slash it. I'm going to slash it open. So you can see that our shawl collar is almost done. It is very easy. You're already seeing the collar and you're already seeing the body. So a little alteration, because we went out here by 0.5, we have to go out here by 0.5 for us to have a proper balance. If not, the front will be wider than the back. So we have to reconnect this 0.5 to the 1 inch this way for us to have a proper balance. And then don't forget, we are going to also slash this place open. Since we slashed the one in front open, so you look for the midpoint here, and then you will slash this side open. I'm sure it is easier than I'm saying it. If by the time you do it yourself, you will see that it is very easy. So looking at it now is looking beautiful, and that is all for your shawl collar jacket. So the next thing we are going to do now is let's cut it out and see what we have for our jacket. So I'm going to cut it out from the vent here. I'm going to cut it out. I want to show you every process, because I want you to understand and I want you to make your own jacket too. So I'm going to cut it out for you to see. So now to the sleeve of the draft we are making. Because this is a jacket, the sleeve is going to be a bit different from the normal sleeve. So for us to start with, we need to get the cap height of this sleeve. So the length of this sleeve we are using here is length 23. So from the top here to this place is length 23. So we need a cap height for this sleeve. So to get the cap height, there is a calculation for it, and the calculation is the bust measurement divided by 12 plus 1 inch. So for this measurement is 33 divided by 12 plus 1 inch will give me 3.75. So from the very top here, I'm going to measure 3.75 this way, and on the other side I'm going to measure 3.75, and then I'm going to roll the 3.75 across here. This is going to be our cap height. So the next thing we want to do is, okay, before I want to advise that when you are cutting this sleeve, make sure that your pattern is on fold. You can see, make sure it's on fold, because we are still going to open it up to finish up the sleeve. This is a jacket sleeve, so make sure it is on fold. So the next thing we want to do now is, let's get the horizontal measurement. So for this sleeve here, the cap height is 3.75. The elbow for this measurement is 12.5. The elbow length and the full length is 23. So on this side, I'm going to measure the same 12.5 here, and I'm going to roll the 12.5. I'm going to roll it across this way. So now the next thing we are going to do is, we are going to measure. Remember the chest line for the draft, the bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 give us 7. So I'm going to place that same measurement, 7, on this line here. So this is 7. Remember, this draft does not have the sewing allowance, so make sure that after drafting you add your sewing allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to connect that 7 to the upper part of the draft this way. This is the sleeve head here. So on the elbow line here, the elbow measurement, the elbow round here is 12. So 12 divided by 2 will give me 6. So this is 6. And the wrist measurement here is 9. 9 divided by 2 will give me 4.5. So here I'm going to measure 4.5. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect from the wrist this way to the elbow, and then from the elbow line I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect it this way. It's not supposed to be straight. It's supposed to have a bit of curve, so I'm going to connect it this way. So I hope you can see. So this is for the sleeve measurement. So the next thing that we are going to do now is, this is a jacket. So for the headline here, for the top of the sleeve, I'm going to look for the midpoint of the sleeve here. So this is 8 here. The midpoint for this sleeve is 4. So I'm going to connect the 4 this way to the hem. I'm going to connect 4 this way. I'm not going up or going down. It's just from the hem here, and then I'll turn my curve ruler this way, and then I'll connect to this way, just a little bit, not too much, just this way, or you go down a little bit this way. Yes, so this part of the draft here is going to be the back of the draft. This is going to be the back, so the other part is going to be the front. So I'm going to cut it out first. Okay. So this is the, let me put it here so that I don't mix it up. This is the back. So now I'm going to open up the draft this way and extend the line. This is the line. I'm going to extend the line this way. So now I want the front side of the draft to be here. The front here. Sorry, the front here. So for me to mark out the front is a little bit, it's going to be a little bit deeper than the back. So I want to mark out I want to mark out this place, the center front, the center of the draft is here. So I'm just marking out the center, and then I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch here. The back, the front is always deeper. So I'm going to use my curve ruler from the top, from the crown of the sleeve this way, and then I will turn it back to the hole this way. So I'm going to cut it out. So that's just the little difference between the front and the back sleeve. So now this is the front, this is the back. So I want you to watch what I'm going to do now. This is a jacket. So there is a special way we cut the jacket. You are going to turn it this way. You are going to fold your pattern this way, because I want to divide the whole line into 4. Okay, so if I open it up, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines this way. So I'm going to connect the 4 lines with my ruler. I hope you can see the lines. I'm seeing it here. Once you fold your pattern, you'll be able to divide it into 4 this way. This is the center, the sleeve. This is the center of the sleeve. This is a jacket. So it has a little bit of twist to the normal jacket, the normal sleeve. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the back side and this is the front side. So what we are going to do now is on the back side here, on the back side, this line here, I'm going to take off 1 inch on both sides. 1 inch here, 1 inch here, and I'm going to connect it to the ankle as if I'm making a dart. You will see that your blazer, the sleeve is usually curved in a way. So this dart here, I'm going to take it out. But you know, when we remove a dart, we have to replace our dart. So I'm going to put in a paper here. I'm going to put in a paper on both sides to replace my dart. So on this side, I'm going to stick a paper here, and on this other side, I'm going to stick another paper. So I'm going to tape it down this way, because we are going to replace that dart that we took. We will not just ignore it that way, we have to replace it. So what we will do is that now this is the front side. I'm going to come here and add the 1 inch we took away from this place. I'm going to add it to this place. From the ankle line here, I'm going to connect it all the way down to the 1 inch here, to the 1 inch. And then on this other side too, I'm going to replace the 1 inch here. All this is just to give our jackets the kind of thickness jackets do have. So, and that will be all. So when I'm cutting, this is how I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it. This too, I'm going to cut it out. The dart, I'm going to cut it out because I've already replaced it here. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to remove this one, cut it all the way up. So that is it. So this place now is going to be one side of our sleeve, and this place is going to be the other side of our sleeve. So when you want to place it on your fabric, you are going to place it separately. You are going to add 1/2 inch allowance to still join it back together, and then you are going to add to the side here 1.5 inches and add your lining. So that will be all. I'm sure I enjoyed the class, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And the way I took the class, I went slowly. I hope you understand it. So if you have not subscribed, please, this is the time for you to subscribe. You need to encourage me to bring in more interesting videos, for me to bring you more styles. So I want you to subscribe. I want you to click on that like button, and I want you to also practice and make your own shawl jacket. So thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. God bless.